Video.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody, to the Avenue Z podcast series. Today, we're going to be discussing the keyword of the month of influence, what it means to drive influence, how does it shape your business today, and what does the future hold for influence. So, I'm Jonathan Snow. I'm going to be the host, co founder, and chief innovation officer at Avenue Z. I've been in the e commerce industry for over 10 years, spent time on the affiliate and influencer side of things, also had e-commerce brands of my own, and also have many years on the agency side. So influence sits right in the middle of everything I've been doing for the past decade. I'm joined today by two very special guests. We have Abby, who's an influencer in her own right across many different social channels. And we have Puneet, who is an influencer, a content creator, a serial entrepreneur, and the man behind Guru Nanda, which is one of the largest TikTok shop brands in the world. So I want to kick things off with some introductions. Abby, I'll flip it over to you. Just a quick intro, your background, and how influence impacts you today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Abby Fridman. I'm a full-time content creator, and I initially actually started off of TikTok. So it's really great to see the evolution of TikTok and how influence is changing the market. I'm very excited to be doing this with you guys today.
Great. I am. Oh, I am Puneet Nanda, and I am a accidental TikToker, to say the least. And I'm a serial entrepreneur. That's true. I would also call myself a social entrepreneur, and TikTok has given me the voice to the world. That is real. So it has really bridged the gap for me.
Excellent. So I want to kick things off first with a true or false. I have two things here, and I'll give my answer at the end. But I often hear the word influencer and content creator get interchanged, but they mean very different things to me. So, Abby, I'll let you go first. True or false? All influencers are content creators.
I'll say this is true because you have to know how to content create in order to influence.
And Paneet?
I say that it is false. I think influencer is somebody who actually can be trusted and who forms a trust bond. And anybody can be a content creator. But to influence, you need to create that bond between you and the person listening to you. Sorry.
Excellent. And the other statement is the flip side. All content creators are influencers. True or false?
I would say this is false because not everyone is influencing across social media platforms. You could be a UGC creator that solely creates without posting.
Paneet?
I agree. It is same answer, not true. Because, for example, I don't consider myself as a content creator, but I've been a decent size influencer and I've learned how to create content. So I would say false for both.
Okay. There's no right answer, by the way, but all influencers, in my social media influencers, I should say, are content creators. You have to create content in order to drive influence digitally on social media. But all content creators certainly are not influencers. To be an influencer, you actually have to drive influence, right? It means you have a devout following. Anytime you post, your followers want to take an action based on whatever your opinion is, right? So that's my take on it. It's one of my pet peeves when people interchange those words. When they call content creators influencers, you need to drive influence to be an influencer. But to be a social media influencer, you need to create content and disseminate that, whether it's written content, video content, image content across all the different channels. You need to actually create the content and get it out there. So, next up, how do you define influence? How do you incorporate influence into your business? And then how does it actually shape your business today? And
Me,
this doesn't, and whoever can answer first, but I'm not necessarily talking about influencers specifically here, just the word influence. How do you incorporate influence, which can include influencers, into driving business results today?
I think the most direct definition for me of influence is when someone is able to make an emotional connection and actually adjust a person's decision making skills based on how they're making them feel.
I personally think pretty much the same, but whenever an influencer is actually telling people and people can feel that there is a trust bond that has been created between them, then they take action accordingly just because that influencer is, they feel that whatever he's saying is nothing but the truth. It's like being their hands on the Bible and saying, this is it.
Trust is so important. Yeah.
100%. And I think it's something that a lot of brands and marketers, content creators, they kind of forget that influence really does need to touch every part of your business and your brand. So you have to think of it in your ad copy. You have to think of it, the copy on your website. You have to think about influence in just your customer experience. You know, when someone reaches out to customer support, every touch point within that customer journey is influencing their opinion of your business. So I think it's something to really have as the central core of everything that you do, and make sure you disseminate that message to your team. So influence is the most important driver of any business, in my opinion. So let's talk about influencer content now. What channels do you really prioritize the most, and why, for creating your own content and posting?
I think when it comes to prioritizing any channel, all of them have equal opportunity, but it also depends on, say, for example, a business standpoint goal. If you've just joined TikTok Shop, you're going to want to prioritize TikTok Shop content, right? Back in the day before TikTok Shop was a thing, I felt like a lot of people were driving traffic through Meta, which is Instagram and Facebook. So there's definitely a difference between goals, I want to say. However, each and every single platform gives you the chance to grow and drive traffic to your business.
Yep.
I am actually of a little different opinion. I feel TikTok is my preferred channel. I feel that my audience resonates the best on TikTok. TikTok, I feel, and this is my personal opinion, so I feel TikTok is for real people, people who are not making up stuff and looking pretty. TikTok is all about being real. And on Instagram and Facebook, I felt that you had to look a certain way. You had to have a scenic view, or you had to have something extra, which I did not resonate with sometimes. And for YouTube, I've yet to discover YouTube. I've just started a channel, but it's still a learning phase. I think YouTube is more about discovery. So my long educational content, I'm going to be posting more on YouTube, just because TikTok is not probably the right venue. People are not searching TikTok for certain stuff. They're mostly going to YouTube to look for a certain point. Okay, what do I do in case I have so and so problem?
So, okay. So now, do both of you shoot content specific to each platform? Take me through your cross-channel content strategy, or do you just repurpose? You know, if you're prioritizing TikTok, do you just download that video, maybe you chop it up a little bit, and then repost it to Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts? Or are you shooting specific to each channel?
I think when it comes to the niche that you're in, it could be specific to channel. For me, I prioritize shooting more so my lifestyle and what it's like being a social media manager and a full-time content creator for my Instagram. But then for TikTok Shop, my videos are entirely different. So I'll incorporate the products and how I use the products in my life, or, anything that relates to more so of leading a consumer to a purchase rather than educating them more on lifestyle. So back before I started prioritizing growth on Instagram, I was just repurposing everything across each channel. And that still gave me a lot of growth that was uniform. So what I would do is I would shoot something on my phone, edit it in CapCut, and then use it uniformly across any platform.
Got it.
I
And do you
actually,
use, sorry, Puneet, and then do you use any technology to like manage your content calendar across channels?
No, because I find that when you post organically, your content has better performance than using a scheduler or something that's AI.
So you think that if something is posted with like a later, for example, TikTok or Instagram would pick that up and be like, oh, because it was scheduled, we're not going to give it as much reach? Or do you think it's just like the feel of posting organically somehow, that timing is just better resonating? And
I think for whatever reason, Instagram may pick it up. I'm not sure of any schedulers with TikTok because I haven't used this myself in the past. But what I've seen happen is that when someone is doing post forwarding, it just the engagement and reach significantly drops. It's not something I can personally explain because I'm not, behind my computer doing my little investigation of like, does this AI tool work? But it's just something that I've experienced as a social media manager, and it's something I wouldn't recommend for anyone just because I could see the drastic difference in the reach and engagement. So I feel like when you're organically posting and you're striving to reach that SEO, it does way better than just using something that posts forwards. Not to make this super lengthy, but I have a client that I do content creation for on their TikTok channel. Now, what they did was instead of having me, create videos that are just significant to their Instagram, they use a scheduler to post forward everything from my TikTok. So even though it doesn't have the watermark from TikTok, which is like a no-go for Instagram, it still flops. It's crazy. The views are just drastically different.
Got it. Yep. And yeah, I know I have the same feeling, and I think the same goes for every channel. For example, if I schedule a tweet or a LinkedIn post, I just have a feeling for whatever reason. Obviously, they're not going to prioritize that content because it's not as organic, right? If you're scheduling it ahead of time, I think these platforms want you to be kind of in the moment and be in the conversation at that very point in time that you're actually posting. So, yeah, I have the same feeling. Go ahead, Paneet. Let's hear your take.
So I am actually using a tool called repurpose.com, and I am making most of my content on TikTok and repurposing it to Instagram and Facebook and YouTube Shorts. And I agree with you guys that I am have been thinking of finding time or somebody to help me uh, do it organically on those because they don't do as well as I would have thought they should. So, but for now, I did not want to be left alone, so I'm using them. Are they doing that good on other channels? No. Do I have the time to do it yet? Not yet. Secondly, because I'm also running a business, not just content creating. And secondly, for YouTube, I've just started doing, spending about 3, 4 hours a week, starting my own YouTube podcast slash uh, channel explaining products. So that I've just started. So I'm hoping that would take off. And I've gotten better reception on YouTube the moment I started that. Literally, I could see a change from 200 people to 1,200 people within a week. And that followed me. So it was pretty amazing to see. So I'm going to actually listen to you and you guys and actually start doing organic content for other two
I'm
channels.
glad we can influence you.
You did, and you did, and I was half influenced because I saw the results literally last week, and I knew I have to do it. I just need to find time to do it.
Yeah. For sure. So Paneet, so right now for your TikTok content, that's like where you're shooting natively. And then when you're repurposing that for Instagram Reels, like you're just pretty much downloading it, removing the watermark, and then reposting it on Instagram.
No, not even downloading it. There's a system which automatically takes it to
Got
the
it.
other ones. So that's what I'm doing. But I don't think that's the moving forward. I need to stop that.
Yeah, because these platforms, they are prioritizing original content. I mean, TikTok's very clear. If you repost it, this affiliate content on the brand page, it's duplicate content. You're getting zero reach. They say that they scrape Instagram. If they see that video there, you get penalized in their own, black box system of ranking pages and content. So it's something that they say. Who knows? But if there's a way that they can measure it, they're going to essentially put a penalty on you behind the scenes. So
They
might
need
as
to
well think
stop it
about it.
right away
Yeah,
then.
I think the best way to approach it is like you have to think about efficiency too. Like obviously everyone only has a certain amount of hours in the day that they can devote to this, but you're shooting it like TikToks, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. It's all pretty much the same content. To avoid the duplicate content thing, maybe you just whatever your native platform is, say it's TikTok, you cut that up a little bit. Maybe you add a different thumbnail, different hook for each other channel. So you're kind of testing different creative formats, but essentially at an efficient pace by only changing a little thing. It won't get picked up by the other platforms as duplicate content and kind of kill two birds with one stone that way.
Good
Something
idea.
interesting that I actually picked up on was that when I repurpose my TikTok content, say if I shot it, in my phone, I edited it, uploaded it to TikTok, and it performs well. that same video actually does well on Instagram as well, especially if the video went viral on TikTok. However, if I post something to Instagram and then upload it to TikTok, same method, it won't perform well, which is a little bit strange. So I don't know if they necessarily pick up on the fact that it's the same piece of content as long as it's not watermarked, if that makes sense. Or
Yep,
maybe if it's because you're using the same SEO features, such as subtitles from either platform.
that makes sense. Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about TikTok Shop now. Let's talk about money. Everyone knows that TikTok Shop has been the biggest driver of performance in the past 12 months, I would say, for most e-commerce brands. A year ago, you were hearing of brands that aren't even spending on ads on TikTok, but their TikTok Shop is doing over $1 million a month in revenue because all their posts are going viral on the brand page and all the affiliate posts are going viral. And these millionaires are occurring overnight, and a lot of these brands are doing more on TikTok Shop than all of their other sales channels combined. I think the story has kind of changed a little bit. Now it's a little more pay to play. You're not hearing of all this overnight millionaire euphoria anymore. But take me through how much GMV you both have driven through your own posts as influencers on TikTok Shop historically.
Yeah, so for the last 6 months, I actually did an estimate calculation. I generated a GMV of 250,000.
Wow, that's incredible. And what commission range do brands most often pay you on TikTok Shop?
I really like the fact that we can choose our commission range. So I typically go for products that offer a pay anywhere from 15 to 20%.
Awesome. And how about you, Paneet? I know you're not doing any like affiliate
So,
deals, yourself, but you're only pushing Guru Nanda, right? So take me through
yeah,
the
but
GMV that you've produced.
I'm actually making money from the affiliate posting. So
You're making money from Guru.
yeah,
Yep.
and I get paid to do it.
Amazing.
So means I don't get paid to do it, but I make commission money. That's
Yep.
what I would. So I would say my GMV this year is running in several $1 million. I don't know the exact number, but it is in several $1 million.
And
Uh,
that's from your posts, from your Paneet.
it's
Wow,
just my posts.
that's
Wow, I have
So
a
incredible.
lot of catching up to do.
And how many
and
followers do you have on TikTok now?
I have 306,000 followers, but my followers are unlike. I'm not a pretty girl. I'm a bald Indian Asian guy. So I am, but I have die-hard followers to say the least. Like if I have had situations where when I came up with a toothpaste, say I made toothpaste for 4 months, and I was thinking it would be enough till December, and we sold more in one day, and we were sold out in 6 days straight. But we sold more in first day than we expected in first 2 months. So, and I alone was able to sell almost 40% of that. So, um, if I'm saying something, people are listening. And the reason is also because whenever I say something, I just don't say it by this. I tell them why by this. I'll give you a quick example because whenever early morning your body is hungry according to Ayurveda, which I've studied Ayurveda. So you're very hungry. That's why you break fast when you actually take your breakfast. You, so first thing, whatever you eat is getting absorbed in your body the first. So whenever you use a toothpaste and your toothpaste has a lot of chemicals, they are getting absorbed through your mucous membranes below your tongue, in your mouth. And those, if they are chemicals that are kind of aliens to the body, they are going to the liver or they're going to other places to get kidneys. They're affecting every vital organ in your body, and you're storing them for a long, long time. That is why I made a toothpaste that anybody could use, or I made oil pulling that anybody could use, that is straight from the kitchen products, things that are 100% natural, things that are good for you. And I have in the past life manufactured a lot of brands, a lot of products, and I realized after going through my transition back in 2012 when I healed myself, and I became the guru of my own wellness. That's why we call it Guru Nanda. that I need to empower my customer to be the guru of their own wellness. So when I tell them this, and I tell them this is the product, these are the ingredients, you buy it because of this reason, or you don't buy it, is your choice, your temple, your body. If you still choose to buy something else, great. If you choose to buy this, this is the reason you should. And my opinion is you should. Whether you want to do it or not, that is your option, and you have to be the guru of your own wellness. So I leave it at that. Then all of a sudden, people who are concerned about their well being will buy it, and they end up buying it, and they end up buying it in hordes. So that is exactly what has made me successful.
Yeah, and I think you're a great storyteller too. Like you said, you're not just pushing products all day. You're really telling the story behind the product, talking about the pain points with other products on the market and why your product would be a solution to all the issues with whatever else is out there today. And I think with health and wellness just being really in focus over the past 5 years, pretty much since the pandemic, I think people are looking to kind of take control of their health and they're more mindful and thoughtful about what they put in their body. And I think you just do an awesome job at really just making that the core of your page, and people trust you. Obviously, you're not a guy off the street talking about health and wellness. You're a doctor, right? So you also have the credibility too.
So I'll show you something that might interest you since you're yourself into medicine. I want to show you, like, uh, back in the day when I was growing up, there was a TV ad that used to run in India that said, if you don't bleed, you're not brushing correctly. You're not brushing hard enough. Hard brushes are a big thing. And then there were mouthwash ads that said, if you don't burn, you're not cleaning yourself. And back in the day, there used to be surgeons saying more doctors smoke Camel than any other cigarette. You know, people don't realize that whatever was valid, and I have actually been in plane where my father took me inside the cockpit and the pilot was smoking a cigarette. And and back in India, there was a movie where the doctor is saying he's operating on some patient, and the doctor is saying, "Give me a puff quick," to the one of the nurses. So that is what was there back then. Was it correct? No. So we got to make a change, and all these big companies are getting complacent when they don't change and they just keep pushing the same thing over and over, because they are big public companies. They just keep churning, and anybody small comes in, either they bombard them with so many lawsuits, or s- they buy them, one of them, and ultimately they get crushed, the people, and there's only four or five that remain. So I feel that there was time for change, and I'll try it. Whether I can survive long term and I don't get crushed, that time would tell. But there is obviously a need for change that is for sure required, and 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 that is what I'm here to do.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, the standards change over the years, right? Like medicine, dentistry, clinical studies come out. Unfortunately, curriculum in medical, dental schools, and even manufacturing products doesn't change with the times. You still have very archaic products that have been on the shelf, archaic formulas that, there's recent studies that say that that's not good for you, but somehow those products have not adapted. And some of these big companies are asleep at the wheel. And it kind of creates room for other brands that are more forward thinking, modernized. Those are the ones that are going to rise and potentially take over time.
So you can offer a cigarette to a friend of yours and he'll feel offended, but if you offer him a piece of good quality good looking chocolate, he'll feel okay. Versus, people don't realize that that could be equally harmful or even more for certain people. And it's not about just the teeth. It's about getting somebody, because people don't realize we eat almost 70 times more sugar than we ate 50, 70 years ago. So there's a lot that needs to be changed that is hardly changing because of our palates. And I think, one at a time, we need to drive the change. And you got to be the change you want to see in other people. So I'm trying to change myself every day, be the guru of my own wellness so that I can empower others.
Love
I'm
it.
having a full circle moment here right now because really, really funny, quick backstory. But I went to school to become a doctor. So I have my degree in interdisciplinary biology from Stony Brook University. And on my last year of college, that's after the pandemic already hit. I really decided I was like, this isn't for me because I started studying holistic medicine and I had a 50-pound weight loss transformation, which is how I started on TikTok. So sharing that value, that information that influenced people to want to be better, to be healthier, and to take care of themselves, which is exactly your message, is what opted me to grow. So I truly believe that when you are influencing out of your genuine beliefs, you're being honest, you're building that trust, and you're sharing value, most importantly, that's what's going to lead you to become successful because you're showing what you truly care about and making other people follow suit. So it's really funny that this was very serendipitous, but I just had to throw that in there.
100%. Yeah, you have to be relatable. You have to believe in what you're saying. And if you can story tell well, and people are going to resonate with whatever you're saying, and they're going to trust you and follow you. And then that turns into a devout follower that starts purchasing products from you, right? So be yourself, be engaging, and be natural, and the rest takes care of itself. So
Agreed.
now, Abby, I have a bunch of questions for you because we work with a lot of brands. We have a lot of marketers on our team, and everyone wants to hear more of the perspectives from the influencer, the content creator when you're looking at different deals, right? So we'll start off with a question. I know you're an affiliate yourself on TikTok Shop. How many messages do you get per day from these brands on TikTok Shop?
Anywhere from 60 to 200
60 to 200 messages per
a
day.
day. A day. And on Mondays, it's heaviest. And towards the end of the weekend, it's lightest. But it becomes super overwhelming to sift through all these messages that I've almost given up simply because of the fact that it's just you get spammed. It's impossible to keep
Yep.
track. And the way that TikTok gives you access to your notifications is a little bit beta version, I like to call it, because it's difficult to navigate through. Messages disappear when you open them. You can't pin certain messages. It's just difficult to read through.
Yep. So those are just DMs in TikTok there through like your affiliate portal. It's just
Yeah.
that's wow, 60 to 200. So how do you sift through the noise? Like, what are you looking for? Is it the subject line? Like, do you open all of the messages, or you just kind of pick and choose which messages you're going to respond to?
So I'm very grateful that I'm at a point where I no longer look through those notifications. My vetting process is usually through looking for collaborations that are paid through different platforms. Like, for example, Incense, we have Join Brands, Billow. At the same time, what I like to do is, because I'm sure every influencer knows of this, but adding your contact information to your profile is crucial because that's how brands reach out to you. So I find that when a brand actually takes the time to write out an email that's not chat GPT templated and they reach out to me and they want to work with me, that's incentive for me to kind of go through and consider it.
Got it. So let's say the brand. So it's safe to say that you pretty much don't respond to the messages on TikTok itself, right? Okay. So through the email channel, what are you looking for? Because you only have X amount of time per day to shoot content, right? You're not just a content creator, you also manage social media. But what are you looking for in these relationships? Is it really a fixed payment up front? Is it a mixture of fixed and commission? Like, what are the deciding factors for you as a content creator on who you're going to actually work with?
So, as someone who posts consistently throughout TikTok as an influencer, I like to look at the For You page to see what's performing well, because likely that something is performing well is something that's going to work well with me. One very important thing that I think people forget when it comes to this entire world is choosing something that actually resonates with your personality. I will not pick something that I feel like isn't true to who I am, isn't something that I like, isn't something that interests me, because then I can't sell it. And that also comes across through the camera 1000%. um, a lot of times what I look for is, for example, when a brand reaches out to me through email, I want to make sure that they have an actual Gmail, not a Gmail domain. I'm sorry, I meant to say I want to make sure that they don't have a Gmail domain and it's not just some sketchy looking outreach. A lot of times I look for them to have a signature in their bio so that I know who I'm speaking to, whether it's the head of influencer marketing, whether it's the founder, the CEO, who's reaching out to me, and if they have a profile photo. because most of the time when I'm getting emails, what happens is a lot of these sellers migrated, it seems, from Amazon, and they're selling just everyday products that have given them performance through Amazon. So they'll add me to a mailing list where I'm in a pool of, say, 100 different emails, and they're not really addressing anyone directly. They have a chat GPT format, and that kind of turns me off as a creator. It's not personal, it's not catered. So if you want me to make your product personal and catered to my audience, why can't you do the same via email? I feel like it goes both ways in a professional standpoint.
That's a great point. Now, if we're talking about commission rates, I know like 15 to 20% is what most brands are offering content creators, which I'm not sure like what the science is behind that. I think they think that like 15 to 20% just sounds like something right. But what are you looking for in terms of commission rate, and how big of a factor does that have on your decision-making process?
In a perfect world, if I could choose the right quote unquote commission rate or payment, I would have a flat rate fee, because obviously it takes effort to put together a video, to edit it, to put it out there, and then at the same time make commission from the sales. So it's all dependent on your experience with the seller, the product, how much you want it, how much you like it, what the value of the product is. If you know that a seller is making millions of dollars on something, but they only want to offer you 1% of the pie, yet you're giving them, X, Y, and Z exposure, sales numbers, because that's the only avenue that they're going down, I feel that that's a little bit unfair. It's a gray area because not every single creator has a standard uniform rate card. There's no such thing as saying, okay, well, for this demographic of audience, this is what you should be charging. If you look this up online, you will get a million different answers of what your rates should be. So I feel like it's up to every creator's own discretion to see whether or not they like a certain fixed rate and whatever they're comfortable with promoting.
Got it. Okay, that's great advice. Now, what about GMV for the brand on shop? Does that also impact your decision-making process? Obviously, if commission is tied to your form of payment, do you care how successful the brand already is? Like, are you going to be hesitant to work with a brand on a commission structure if let's say they're brand new on TikTok Shop, they have less than $1,000 in GMV? Does that factor into your decision-making process?
Personally, I don't think that a brand's GMV impacts my decision on whether or not I'd be working with them, because I have seen many instances where a brand will start from scratch, because at the end of the day, we all start from zero at any given point. So for myself, I like to know that I just ask myself, am I able to promote this product and actually interweave emotions and a story with it? Can I sell this, right? Because it's not the seller that's doing the selling, it's me when I'm posting it. So I want to know, am I going to be able to benefit this person and their brand? I'm going to give you an example. One of my top selling items was from a little jewelry boutique on TikTok Shop. I was looking for a clicker belly button ring, just a stupid little knickknack. I was like, all right, I want this for myself because it looks pretty, it's cute, it's a girly little thing. Let me request a sample. So I did, and that ended up being my top seller from the last year.
Wow.
I'm not even kidding. This seller made so much money just from just a few select videos that I didn't expect to go viral. Now, all I did was make a 15-second video showing what the product is, why I like it, and trying it on. And that video now has 9 million views.
Wow.
It was posted in, I don't know, I want to say maybe 9 months ago, and it's still gaining traction. So my strategy was piggyback off that video, create several more responding to comments, and now those videos are selling even more. And now the seller reached back out to me and sent me all these different samples, and I just keep creating content for that one seller with that product. It's something I like, and it's something that's selling for them. So it's mutually beneficial, and it's making us money.
That's awesome. And are you, because you know how well that post did, are you working with them only on a commission basis right now, or is it like fixed payment plus commission?
It's solely been on a commission basis. The product, for example, the belly button ring is $25. So I make 20% of that, and I'm pretty happy with that.
That's awesome. And did you give them the Spark code? Are they running ads behind those videos?
Surprisingly, no. This has been organically growing.
Wow. And I think the thing that influencers, or I should say affiliates on TikTok Shop, not everyone's an influencer, that's an affiliate. I think something that they don't think about when they are deciding to work with brands is like, is this brand going to put paid media behind my post? Because affiliates get commission on paid media conversions too. And I don't know if affiliates are aware of that. I know one of my big gripes with TikTok Shop, and I tell them this all the time, is making the Spark code transaction process between the creator and the brand much easier, right? It's very manual right now. The brand has to request it. The affiliate might, be too busy to get it to them, but not really top of mind for them that they're going to make money by giving that Spark code over. So that's something I think like that's probably something you should recommend to that brand. Like, hey, you guys should put paid media behind this. It's a win-win, and take it from there. But I think that's
Luckily, so far, I haven't had a single video for that product not outdo performance. And I think the reason behind that is because I've been doing the response to comments from that one original video that has 8 million views, right? I did a response to comment off of the new product she sent me, right? So keep in mind that video was posted months ago. So chose a comment that was at the top of my comment sections and promoted her new product to that. That right now was posted a few days ago. It's at almost 500K views.
wow.
So it's impressive to me that it's going organically. Sometimes I wonder, like, is there a team, which I did thankfully get to meet with the TikTok creative team, and it seems like there is an option to choose what does well in the For You page or doesn't. But then again, who are we to know? We're not sitting behind in the algorithm seeing what's really going on.
Yeah, no one knows. I did notice that the two best like performing formats of TikToks are the comment response and the duet style. And I think it's because that really fosters engagement between the content creator or the brand and the end user. So like responding to the comments, like I think that brings TikTok as a platform like full circle. And I think they reward those really heavily in the algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, very helpful. Thanks for those answers. Now, Dr. Fresh, I have a question for you. And I know you post a lot, but all your posts are great. What's more important to you, quality or quantity of posts?
So I try as I told you in the very beginning, I'm not a big content creator. I just be me and I just say it. And to me, if I feel that there is a question that I need to answer, I'll just take my phone and start answering. I'm not about waiting for the lights to turn on or go in a specific area. I just do it. And it's all about doing it. So my best video did 37 million views, and that I created at 5:55 without any preparation. And 6 o'clock I posted it. I have a 1 hour drive, and by the time I reached home, it had done 180,000 turns. So that tells you that it's to me it's a shotgun approach. I am just doing content. I do post about 10 videos per day on an average, and I've made 7,000 videos in the last 2 years approximately, and it's just content out. And people ask me, how do you get so many ideas? I said, problem is, if I had more time, I could make 14,000 videos or even more. I just don't have time. I'm running a business too. I just,
So
I
how do you
just say
decide
whatever
10
comes to
videos a day? That's incredible. So 10 new videos per day that you're probably going to repurpose on other channels, right? But how do you come up with the ideas for all these videos? Do you have a whole list, like a running list of ideas that pop in your head? Or do you just, you're in the office and you're like, all right, oh, that's a good idea. And then once that's done, you maybe answer a few emails and then another idea pops in your head and you're just totally
mind.
off the cuff like that?
I just have while I'm sleeping when I wake up at 3 o'clock at night and I have like 20 ideas. Earlier I used to say they'll wean off and the only the good one will remain. Nowadays maybe I get up and I text uh, my assistant, and I've made a group between her called Ideas. I text her, although really I hardly use them. I still keep doing whatever comes to my mind.
Got it. But you do have that one chat with your assistant whenever
Yeah,
you're dry on ideas. Interesting.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I have like for me, I try to put out a lot of written content on LinkedIn and Twitter. I have a whole list of ideas that pop in my head. I put them in like Apple Notes, like the Notes app on my iPhone. And it's like a running log. So whenever I'm dry, I do also, I'm the same thing. I have off the cuff things that, oh, I read something interesting or, oh, I found this interesting insight. I'm going to share it. But then whenever I'm like, I do have that gap where nothing's like on the top of my head, then I'll go back to my notes log and repurpose a
But
prior
once in a
idea.
while, if there is a video that shows up on my For You page, that I feel that really connects to me, I try to emulate that, or I try to use that song, or like that style. But 99% it's whatever comes to my mind.
Got it.
I definitely learned that once you have an idea, you have to just execute it because it is never going to be the same if you keep waiting and prolonging it,
So
especially in
true.
the
I
creative world.
I am 100% telling you one thing. People ask me, how do you make it right? I said, I don't. I just do it. I make it imperfect because I am imperfect. I'm never going to be perfect, and I don't want to be perfect. I just do it. That's
That's the
all.
best way. You got to be raw. You got to be real.
Yes.
And so, Abby, how about you? Quality or quantity?
I would definitely say quality because if you're producing too much in quantity, you could lose the spark throughout. Like it's a different case with you, Dr. Fresh, I feel like because you definitely put in a lot of that, ideology and you have those ideas and values and you just execute and that is your quality, right? But for creators like me, for example, if I have a project that's due for a certain brand, I can't just get up and film it. You have to make sure that you get the brand values. You touch on all the aspects of what the product looks like. Especially, for example, furniture, right? If I'm doing home furniture, if I'm doing makeup, it's a little bit different than just waking up at 3 a.m. and going full beat. So for me, I would have to dedicate the time throughout my day. What I like to do is batch shoot on certain days of the week, and that's how I execute that content. That's only if it's for a brand. If it's something that's for my personal business or if it's an instance that I'm going through within social media management, then my approach is do it right then and there because if the idea and the verbiage that I have behind it leaves my head, it's not going to come out the same way tomorrow.
Totally agree. Yeah,
Agreed.
I think those are both great points. Like you said, Abby, I mean, if you're getting paid, especially a fixed rate up front, it's you have the responsibility, like the duty to do high quality work, or you're never going to have another client again, right? But then on the flip side, if you're a content creator like Puneet, Dr. Fresh, quantity is everything, right? Like so you're speaking to your own brand, your own products. You don't really have that duty to you're not getting paid a fixed rate by Guru Nanda to, be a Hollywood star of the brand page. You're just a passionate person and that really rings through in your content. So that's interesting. Um, let's see. What is the biggest unlock that you've both had? Did you ever have like an aha moment? I know not everyone was a content creator, 5 years ago. At some point, you became a content creator, and I'm sure the first pieces of content were not great. You probably look back at them and are embarrassed or laughing at them. Did you ever have an aha moment that you actually a light turned on or something clicked that kind of changed the way that you approach things and, led to driving better influence in your content?
I would say understanding that everything is content is what that aha moment was for me. Because when you're creatively burnt out, sometimes you just don't have that drive to keep going, keep filming, keep posting. It gets a little bit daunting sometimes. So when I started realizing that, you don't have to create that perfect aesthetic video, if it's for your personal channels and you're not doing a paid deal, then just be yourself. At the end of the day, no one cares who's judging you. They're not the ones paying your bills. You have to understand that if you do things being your authentic self, that's going to have better performance and better return than pretending to be someone you're not. Because eventually the internet catches up. Everyone knows how to tell whether or not someone's being genuine or if you're just trying way too hard on camera for no reason. That was kind of my aha moment. I feel like as a woman in the influence space.
How long did it take you to get to that point? Like once you realized that?
I think I started realizing that things were changing in the social media demographic, especially when TikTok Shop was introduced, because that introduced sales through your channel, right? So for me, I didn't really want to focus on creating those vlogs or videos every day that were like, oh, I have this great life. This is what I'm achieving throughout the life. Because essentially, that's what I was doing at first. I was doing vlogs of here's how you stay healthy and fit. I wasn't really talking about the pain points. Once I started introducing the, unfortunately, the trauma and the things that I've went through that made me who I am, that's when it started to stick. So this happened, I think, probably in my first year of content creation in 2019.
Got it. That's awesome. How about you,
So
Penny?
my aha moment was with TikTok, because previously whenever I was trying to make content I always had that itch to make content, but my marketing head, she would tell me, "Oh, you need to be dressed certain way. You need to be in certain setting. You can't say this. You can't do this. You have to look this. You have to get your hair done." Like I was like as if I was in chains. And so when this video went viral 2 years ago of this lady from some trailer park, and I didn't know her, her video went viral. We were getting sales like crazy. I actually got onto, I'm accidental TikToker. I got onto TikTok just to look at her because I thought Oprah has said something or somebody. And then I found out from a friend's daughter that it's your one of your videos is going viral on TikTok. I said, "What is TikTok?" Like that is when I really, and because I wanted to go on Guru Nanda TikTok, which was handled by an agency and by my marketing person, but I didn't have the password and it was Saturday. So I made my own account and I'd called my daughter and asked her, "How do I make it?" She says, "Ask a 14-year-old. I don't know. I've never used TikTok." So, so I made my own account and Puneet Nanda was not available. So I made it, I am Puneet Nanda. And when I made my own account, that is when I started answering and my fingers were hurting. And then I saw this camera button. I clicked it by mistake and I said, "Oh, I recorded something," and I clicked post and it posted. And it posted as if I'm answering. So I literally learned A, B, C, D. Like I literally learned from scratch. Nobody taught me. And I once I saw that camera button and I'm not shy in front of camera. I can speak in front of anybody, anywhere, anytime. I don't need any preparation because I just speak out my mind. I have a lot of knowledge that I've gained over years, experience. I probably think I know more about oral care products, not about what you know, Dr. Snow, but about oral care products, maybe more than probably most people would ever know because I've gone from a phase of manufacturing to selling and then again starting it twice. So so I just started doing those answering people on video. And then sixth or seventh day, all of a sudden, one of my videos went viral. I got like 180,000 views. And it was not even an oral care product. Somebody had written something about them having low energy. What do I do? And it was not maybe something that I should have answered. I actually had a Spring Valley, which is a Walmart brand product, lying next to me. I picked it up and I showed them how you can take it sublingually and it would bypass your first pass system to your digestion, and you can. And all of a sudden, that video got 180,000 views within a day, and that was my aha moment where I realized what people are looking for is they're looking for education, simple education. They're looking for simple education from a person that they can relate to and not in a setting like I'm not in front of a Beverly Hills four-star or four seasons hotel and wearing special flashy clothes or mm, they are listening to me because they feel like they can relate to me. And that is when I started making all content that was very educational using my chat GPT, Puneet chat GPT, and answering them on the spot and doing lives. I started doing lives when live was not even a thing. I was one of the first ones who started doing live just because I could press the button and say live and boom. I wanted to answer people extempore so that they feel whatever they are getting is true and not orchestrated. I wanted to be me.
And I think you said a key thing there that I totally agree with, and that's keeping it simple, using layman's terms, right? Like, I think a lot of these brands, they might have great products, but they're overly scientific with their copy on the website, the product descriptions, and it loses people. The average person needs to know like how to understand what the product even does. So like keeping it really simple and relatable to the end user is critical. And that's where I see like health and wellness brands really miss the mark most of the time.
I understand not everybody would be my customer. I knew that because some people want that finesse. And but I wanted to be, I was not looking to be everybody's brand. I was looking to bridge the gap and serve the underserved. So I saw that my clientele was not the yoga mom that I'd been advertising to. So earlier I was advertising on Meta and Instagram, looking always for yoga moms with mats or low yoga mats, like thinking oil pulling would only be more applicable to those people. And then all of a sudden I realized I totally have a different audience. I have an audience that has no money to afford any dental care and is looking for something that can be preventative, that can help them go less. Let's Even if I could reduce one visit to a 250 $300 dental visit just because of the preventative things that they are doing, like scraping their tongue, oil pulling so that they can loosen the biofilms, basically using the products, all of a sudden people start to realize, okay, I'm going to look for that. So all of a sudden, I realized my people were 35 to 55 women, and they are so smart. It's unreal. Doctors like you and me, we know you're taught nutrition for 20 hours in the syllabus versus these moms sitting in Texas in a small village uh, are probably so smart. They're going through YouTubes. They're going through Peter Attai. They're going through Andrew Huberman. They're literally sucking it all up, the best of the best people on earth, and then analyzing it. They are more smarter than many doctors who work in Cedar Sinai. I can tell you. And you should never underestimate a common man.
Yeah.
That woman, 45, sitting in Texas, small home or Albuquerque, is so smart. It's unreal.
Yeah, that's great advice. I mean, how did you realize that your target demographic was not the yoga mom and it was actually more of the common people?
Exactly through TikTok. Exactly through TikTok.
So you just
I'd
took a look at
spend
who was commenting and who was engaging with all the videos on TikTok, and you kind of had that aha moment at that point, like maybe we need to start speaking directly to these people instead of the other people.
and doing a lot of lives. Lives is also where I would ask them, "Where are you from?" Okay, write me where you're joining in from. They'll say Albuquerque. They'll say New Mexico. They'll say strange places that I've never been, like Nebraska or something, or Dakotas. And I'll ask them, okay, how big is your town? Small town, right? And I would ask them, so, and I can see the picture and kind of determine who they are. And they're like, mostly it is, mostly it is women around 45 average age is my consumer.
Yep, that's great. Yeah, my mom
And
is
women with
actually a
low income.
customer.
And women
My
with
mom,
low income.
yeah, my mom showed me the oil pulling she got in her Amazon account. I was like, oh, I know them. So yeah, your TikTok video worked on her. And not many. What's crazy is that like most brands think, oh, only the young generation is on TikTok. My parents actually use TikTok more than I do. The young generation is creating content on TikTok, but older generations are absolutely consuming the content on TikTok too. So I think that's
So
like a bad, like a big misconception of like who's actually on TikTok.
late
I
night
agree with
TV,
that.
Yeah,
late night TV has been replaced by
right.
TikTok.
So true.
Every person that I know in his 70s who's at home say they can't sleep at late till late at night till they have a melatonin or something else, and they're watching TikTok. Every person.
So true. All right, next topic, because we're already almost an hour in, but I got a few more burning questions that I have to ask. So I want to talk about the other hot topic outside of TikTok Shop, and that's AI. AI in marketing. Have you used AI at all in your creative process, whether it's a tool, whether it's licensing out your likeness and creating AI versions of kind of your own content at scale? How have you introduced AI into your content, if at all? Abby, we'll start with you.
I have a very opinionated perspective on AI that a lot of people are going to disagree with, but I hate it. I don't like AI simply for the fact that it lost its humanity. And you can tell when this comes across via emails, scripts, anything that's written out. First of all, as a person, I can distinguish whether or not someone's communicating with AI tools,
Yep.
right? I think it's one way to extract an idea or a template, but and recreate it as your own. However, if it's directly taken from AI, there is just no character to it. It's almost like a universal, bland, boring language. And while it might stay hot for a little bit and it might give us a lot of access in the creator world, I don't think it's ever going to replace it because, yes, things fluctuate. It might have a high peak. I think it's going to drop down simply for the fact that people are going to start realizing that, they don't want to buy things from a robot. They want to hear people like Dr. Fresh talking about why things are good for your health. Real people who have went through certain issues in life, experiencing life and sharing their knowledge. I think that, while AI can give us some really great tools to use, it's definitely got some cons.
Yeah,
That's
100%. Where I see AI like really coming in handy is more so in like the research process. It's not really
yeah.
creative image generation has been awful with AI. It's actually, I've seen Midjourney and ChatGPT. I use it frequently. I think it's actually gotten worse over the past year. I don't know how or why, but like I thought creative would have been way further along. But if you're doing like competitor research or pain point research of consumers, I think ChatGPT has come in handy for us. But it's really in the research process where we've leveraged AI the most, but leaves a lot to be desired on like the creative. Like you said, it needs to be relatable. It needs to be a human. You can't lose the human touch. But one area, and we obviously think AI is going to keep advancing and get stronger and stronger as the models get bigger and bigger over time, is what I think is the most interesting. Imagine you're an influencer, you're a content creator, and you could create thousands of versions of your content with different hooks, with different pain points, or with different unique value props you want to feature about a brand. How do you feel? Like let's just say that it's usable. The tech is great. People can't even distinguish the difference between AI generated content and your actual content. Would you be okay with a brand using your likeness? Let's say you shoot a 1 minute video, but then you giving them the rights or the license to use your likeness to create 100 versions of that video with different, things that you say, different angles. Of course, with your permission, like you would have to go and approve everything. They can't just make you say things you don't, align with. But could you see yourself ever getting on board with that?
I think with my personal choice, I don't ever see myself giving AI the permission to recreate things as me. I don't like that. I feel like it's inauthentic. Sure, yeah, could I review it? Okay, but chances are, is the brand really gonna? If you sign away your rights to something like that and you give AI the license to recreate as you, that's asking for a lot. And I think that takes away a lot of what our job is as a creator, right? It's first and foremost to be creative. And two, it's also to do that job for the brand, right? You don't want the brand outreaching to you once, knowing that they could extract 1,000 versions from that one thing. I think
Now,
that's,
what
if
if
that was
you
possible.
kept what if you kept full control? What if, the brand said like, we can't create this, but like we want you to create like 100 different versions leveraging this software that can create, because let's say the brand that wants to test 50 different scripts, right? Like how much time would that take you to actually shoot that? What if you were in control and then you then gave them the 100 pieces of content that you already pre-approved? Would you think about it differently in that regard?
I think it's definitely, yeah, I mean, I would like it if it's something that I can control, but it also comes down to just ethics. I think it comes down to ethics for sure. And it comes down to knowing, how do you price something like that?
Right.
If you're providing that much value and you're using a tool to do it, but you're saving yourself the work, it's a really difficult question. I don't even think I'd be able to give like a straightforward answer until I'm put in that situation.
Yeah, and I think we will be in that situation pretty soon, which is it's pretty top of mind for me. I think that's how AI could really shake up the space, because right now humans are the biggest bottleneck for creative, like user generated content, video editing. Imagine you just click a button and it's all done for you, and now you can put all those different creatives in your ad account and let the best one win. I think the brands can really iterate on what works best much faster and can reach success much faster. So I think that's what's next for AI and creative. That's what I'm most excited about. I've thought about like how do brands bill for, or how do creators bill for this? Is it a monthly licensing fee? Now they can start stacking. Imagine you charge $2,000 a month for your likeness to be utilized in this creative. Like you go work with tons of brands, you could be making a lot of money, right? Or you could be stuck in the old ways of like, yeah, I'll take a fixed payment per video, and now I'll only be able to work with X amount of brands. Whereas if I kind of adopted technology, I could make 10 times more. So I think it'll be an interesting thing to see how that takes shape in the future. How about you, Paneet? What are your thoughts on
I
AI?
actually am a big believer in AI. I'm totally opposite. I'm like on the other end of the spectrum. I want to use AI in every possible way to the fullest extent. And I probably spend more time on ChatGPT. Like, for example, if I sometimes think I wish I was 30 years younger, the- I, I'm a like a, I'm a thirsty guy who wants to quench out every knowledge piece that can be from ChatGPT, and so it has helped me improve my skill set. Say, for example, if I thought, okay, vitamin K2 is going to do this and this, I want to verify it from ChatGPT right away, and I want to know a little bit more details and how it is going to affect what I'm talking about and get that information right away on my tips. I already have the information. I just want to refresh it. So it's become like my best asset ever. And I use mostly ChatGPT. Other AI tools, I've tried Perplexity to some degree if I'm looking for certain patterns or looking for details. Perplexity Pro has certain better things than Google. And then I've also been using some other video trying to I'm still fiddling in a lot of video making uh, uh, apps that are already there. I've not yet able to literally focus on one, but I've seen, for example, my video, I don't know how to speak Chinese or I don't know how to speak German. So there are apps now where they're very expensive. They charge you like $25 a minute to do the exact same thing. So they'll convert my voice, me, as if I am making the whole video into Chinese that's really, really good, or German that's unbelievably good. Like the German person will think it is a German person saying that. So there are apps like that. So now I'm become a global citizen. I just sent a video to my China distributor. She and I said, "Thank you very much for the initial order, and here is my order that has come to me from China, and here is the pallet ready, and they're getting shipped in this container." And I converted into Chinese. They loved it so much they displayed the whole thing in front of their entire company, and they were
Love
like,
it.
"Oh!" So I've all of a sudden become a global influencer, right? People in China would know me, or people in Germany would know me. So I have the ability to do that through AI. I will use every single bit of AI that would serve me. I am all for AI, 100%.
Great perspective. Okay, now we have a fun little question here. I want to get Paneet. We can start with you. I want to, as a brand owner, I want to hear about the biggest pain points of working with influencers, whether it be a celebrity or a content creator, or an affiliate. Is there anything that really upsets you or is annoying about working with influencers that you wish the influencer community knew about?
I would say some of the influencers are really, really good, and some of the influencers have no idea what they are demanding. So let's say um, a person that has got a decent engagement on each of her posts has 100,000 people following her, every video really doing well, and she is in accordance to my brand. And I call her and she says, "Okay, I'll charge you X dollars per post, maybe $500, just to give you an example. And if you do a contract for making 5 videos a month, that's what I'll charge. Plus, I'll keep the commission, of course, on TikTok." I said, "Done deal. Let's sign off the document." But then a similar content creator, she's got 7,000 people following her, and all her posts do 700 to 1,000 views, very little comments. You call her and ask her, she engages with you and she says, "Oh, I'll charge $8,000 a post." And then you try to explain them that this is not real life. And they'll say, "Oh, uh, Church and White paid me that. Look at this post." I said, "Sure, they are a public company. They can pay you that. But if you're looking for a long term deal with a company that's not Church and White, come back to me. Here's my number."
Yep. Yeah.
Means
Need value alignment. Yep, I
Yeah.
remember working
I
with
think
when.
that is missing. A lot of influencers always think the brand owner is making a lot of money. The brand owners think influencers is making a lot of money. I think there used to be an app called Brand Snob where you could write what you want, the influencer could write what they want, and you could negotiate. Like it was a negotiating platform. Unfortunately, that went bankrupt or something. I wish they had something like this back again, where it is a clear transactionary process, and also there should be a way to find out if this influencer actually believes in your product. Because if an influencer doesn't believe in your product, he's coming in and saying, oh, I love Guru Nanda toothpaste because it has hydroxyapatite and not microhydroxyapatite, not nano. And second post is about, oh, I love this brand because it has nano hydroxyapatite. So it's like contradicting themselves. Those are the influencers I absolutely don't want. I want authentic.
Yep.
And anytime anybody does that, I really never want to see them. Never, I block them. That is the influencer that I absolutely would never use. Somebody that I don't want to know. Somebody who doesn't have integrity is the last influencer I ever want to ever know.
100%. Yep.
Like I talk about, mm, mm, don't eat sugar. A lot of people nowadays promoting sugared gummies with 4 6 grams of sugar with apple cider vinegar, maybe pouring in a bottle of real apple cider vinegar from Bragg's into the sink and saying, eat these if you want to lose weight. What? You
Yeah.
eat 32 grams of
Yeah.
sugar gummies
Crazy.
every day to lose weight?
Yeah.
Means that is, those are the people that annoy me the most. If you
Yeah.
ask me, those are the people who can sell their soul, annoy me the most. And there are people who have done this with my brand. They've come and said, oh, it healed my cavity. My teeth regrew. Like people lie.
Yep.
I block them because
Yep.
I don't want to get affiliated with them. I actually report that this is a lie,
Yeah.
even though they are saying it for my brand. I don't want inauthentic stuff. I don't want people saying wrong stuff,
Right.
uneducating
It
people.
eventually catches up to them. They're just looking for a get rich quick scheme and they're going to say whatever it takes to make a quick dollar, but that ends up not working out for them in the end. So
Right.
that'll work itself out. But no, that's a great point. And how about you, Abby? Working as a content creator and an influencer yourself, working with brands, what do you hate about brands? Like, what is that one common thing that a lot of brands do?
I think the thing that I dislike the most about what brands do in terms of outreaching to creators is definitely using a an email scheme, I call it, where they'll add me to a mailing list with multiple other creators. They'll send the same generic email. Sometimes creators even respond back in that thread and they reveal personal details like their address or how much they're charging. Like it's happened. I've watched it happen.
They don't realize they're replying all. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes people just don't read.
Right.
Another thing is that I feel that as a creator and as a person, I try to be super honest and direct. And for a brand to kind of just generically reach out to me because I'm just a number to them, instead of getting to know my channel and what I'm about, I've had people reach out to me for dog products. All I do is post my cat. So that's kind of like, the misalignment here. It's like I could see that you're looking to sell your product, but hey, I'm also a person. And if you want to work with me, treat it as a professional relationship. I do think that some creators are unprofessional a lot of times. Like Dr. Fresh mentioned, they're inauthentic, they'll do it for a quick dollar. But I think that needs to be reintroduced back into that world because now influencing is treated so lightly as though, it's not a professional career, but it can be if you treat it as such.
Right.
So for me, I just really dislike when brands just treat me as like, oh, you kind of here are to service me.
Right.
I've had brands pretty much be like, well, we can offer you this much, even though I know you're doing a GMV of this much. This is all that we can give you. And then if I politely decline, they'll come back in a really negative way and try to downplay my work.
Oh,
They've
wow.
insulting things before. So I feel like, that humanity and professionalism is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, for sure.
One other thing I would suggest that all influencers should do is write under their profile at one point, what are they looking for? Wellness products, beauty products, uh, athletic products, like home products, gifting products, so that there is a niche that that person is known for. Right now, it really doesn't resonate when the person is talking about a wellness product on one side and trying to sell anchor switches or the like those cell phone accessories on the other one, and then trying to sell totally something unrelated, clothing on the other video. So it becomes very like a clutter box, like a flea market. I
Right.
wish people could understand that they need to pick up a niche that they're a specialist of,
For sure.
because expertise can only come out of passion. And I always say that science back expertise is the one that makes you a super expert. So, and that's make what makes you an influencer.
Yep.
So, just to interject really quickly, I think this is really interesting from your perspective as a business owner, because my standpoint as a creator has been, I'm a person, I'm like an onion. I have many layers, right? So for me, it was as an influencer starting out, I think back in 2019 is when I feel like TikTok was at its easiest growth rate. I posted a trending audio with a quick workout showing people how to do the workout and telling them how, and that had, you know, thousands and hundreds of thousands of views in a day. Now things are a little bit different because with the introduction of TikTok Shop, I feel like on your For You page, you'll see more and more variety of products. So I felt like I haven't really limited myself to a niche anymore. I felt like for me to see growth after that update happened. Sorry, my cat is screaming now. Sorry. Okay. So I felt like after, several updates happened and TikTok Shop was introduced, the algorithm almost changed. And instead of sticking to one niche, the creators that were doing the best were showing the most aspects of their personality all over, right? So one day I might do something that shows you how I'm doing my makeup for the day, but then the next I'm also going to be talking about what I did in the gym, and it still worked, which is also a little bit strange because I can have two different products from two different categories, like the belly button ring, for example, and then something like pillowcases and bed frames, and both those videos will do well on their own separately.
For sure.